So I will call the meeting to order for town board for the May 16th meeting. We have an agenda. Are there any corrections or changes, Bill?
Yep. You can see on the supplements, there's an added consent agenda item. No deletions.
Right on the top, 5-1.
That would be 5I.
Aye, okay. So we'll have 9 items on the consent agenda. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as adjusted?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 That motion passes. Next item is to approve payment of the bills.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve payment of the bills. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item number 4 on the agenda is to approve the meeting minutes for an emergency town board meeting on April 22. Were there any corrections or deletions from those minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded for April 22 meeting minute approval. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. And then we have the town board meeting minutes of May 2nd. Any corrections or deletions to those meeting minutes?
I saw none. Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the meeting minutes of May 2nd, 2016. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, and we have 9 items on the consent agenda. Steve, would you read those, please?
Yes. Consent agenda item 5A has to do with South Shore Trinity Lutheran Church. In accordance with the Township Special Event Policy, grant non-exclusive use of Bel Air Beach to South Shore Trinity Lutheran Church, 2480 South Boulevard, to hold an outdoor worship service, weather permitting, on September 4th, 2016, beginning at 9:45 a.m. for 2 hours per service, and to allow use of electricity from the Township Lifeguard Building to power the sound system. Consent agenda item 5B is a hobby kennel license request at 1335 County Road H-2. We'll call a public hearing for Monday, July 20th, 2016 at 7:10 p.m. Item 5C, hobby kennel license request at 5646 Fisher Street. We'll call a public hearing for Monday, July 20th.
June 20th.
Oh, June 20th, my goodness, June 20th, 2016 that's at 7:15 p.m. Read my notes here. Item 5D, hobby kennel license request at 5715 Fisher Street. Call a public hearing for Monday, June 20th, 2016 at 7:20 p.m. Item 5E is for the Minnesota Association of Townships Financial Report. Based on Finance Officer's review and recommendation, receive and accept the July 1, 2014 through June 30th, 2015 financial reports of the Minnesota Association of Townships. Item 5F, based on Town Engineer's review and recommendation, and including his recommended conditions, approve Xcel Energy permit to replace a power pole on Portland Avenue south of Christine Court. Item 5G, is Ramsey County Election Services Joint Powers Agreement Amendment. Receive Joint Powers Agreement Amendment and refer to Town Attorney for review and to report back at the June 2nd, 2016 Town Board meeting. Item 5H, received a construction activity report. And item 5I is Cub Food Fireworks license. Based on the fire inspector and staff review and recommendations, approve the firework license for Cub Food from May 1st, 2016 through April 30th, 2017. Make a motion to approve those consent agenda items.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item on the agenda is number 6, old business, and we have one old business item that's regarding a solicitor license request for renewal by Anderson.
The town board received the request at the first meeting in May and then referred it to the Public Safety Commission for review. The Public Safety Commission reviewed the applicants. The reason was that there were 2 of the solicitors identified on the list that did have some criminal background. The town board then reviewed the report from the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office and discussed the background as well as the application with the coordinator, Pat Prokosh, for renewal by Anderson. He mentioned that the list had changed significantly since the list of vendors was identified for the board earlier in May. And so the list that discussed with the board, with the Public Safety Commission and with the, can't remember, it must have been with the Public Safety Commission, prison, that the Tong Tao, Brandon Martinez, and Patrick Prokosh were names that were recommended for approval on the shorter list. Now, 2 names have been added, Ashley Anderson and Chris Olson. We have had a chance to have the Sheriff's Department perform background checks on them, and they've come back with no report. So it looks as if everything is in order for renewal by Anderson to receive their solicitor's license. And the recommendation is that the license be valid for a period of 30 days following the date of issuance, that the hours of solicitation be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and no Sunday solicitation. And no solicitation on properties that display the no peddlers, solicitors, or transient merchants signs.
Bill, with just one minor item here, and I think we've talked about this before, and I'm a belt and suspenders type guy, I guess, but could we include in the conditions just a statement that the vendor will comply with township ordinance? I think it's ordinance 37, the vendor's ordinance. Can we just make that standard language in these approvals?
Certainly.
Is that okay with the
Yes.
the rest of the board?
Yep.
Okay. With that, are there any other questions? And we've approved we've reviewed this request, that was last month, right, Bill?
Yes.
So this, the big change here is the final 5 names that we're approving tonight.
Actually, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Wasn't it just 2 weeks ago? Yeah.
I thought we'd seen twice, well,
Yeah.
Well, okay. Nothing's
Because I think
changed
we-
since we
yeah.
saw it last.
Right.
Whenever. Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, what is the response for the requested action item here?
Well, as liaison to the Public Safety Commission, I'll move based on their staff review and recommendations that we approve the issuance of a solicitor's license to renewal by Anderson for the following individuals only. That would be Tong Tao, Brandon Martinez, Chris Olson, Patrick Prokosh, and Ashley Anderson. And it's also subject to the following conditions that are listed on page 51 and standard ordinance, what is it, 37?
37.
Yes.
Vendor will comply with ordinance 37. All right, is there a second?
second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve issuing the solicitor's license. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. And we'll move on to our agenda items number 7, and the first item is a 7:10 public hearing. And I think it's just turning 7:10 right now, so we're right on schedule. All right, so we have a request for a hobby kennel dog license renewal request at 3991 Birch Knoll Drive.
Right on page 76 of your agenda packets is it?
Motion to waive
Yeah,
the reading?
Thank you.
is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to waive the waive the reading since proper publication has been completed. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Bill, it's all yours.
So we do it, okay, got it. This will be the presentation, then you can open the public hearing after this. Page 76 of the packet, Richard Rood, 3991 Birch Knoll Drive, applied for renewal of a hobby kennel license per our ordinance. The dogs have current rabies certificates. The dogs have township licenses. They have completed the application and paid the fee. Mario Lee, the Ramsey County Community Service Officer, Animal Control Officer, has completed a report that's in your packet. That's in your supplemental packet. On page 10 of your supplement. In there, he completes the typical report that you're used to seeing from him, indicating compliance with all of the criteria that he uses. And his recommendation, first of all, his records indicate no complaints since last inspection, and he recommends approval.
Okay. And we've received no comments.
We've received none in the office.
Before we open for public comments, are there any questions from the board?
Just one. Bill, this is a renewal, right?
Yep.
Why didn't we have any minutes from the last board meeting when we renewed it?
Couldn't tell you that.
I think most of the other ones did, but this one doesn't seem to have any reference to.
Well, the reason I said it's a renewal, because in the memo, it says it's a renewal, but.
Well, that's why I thought it was a new one. I didn't, when it said renewal.
Okay. Yeah, it says renewal, it could have been new.
Well, we can confirm that in a minute here, too, here.
If the,
All right, no other questions? Then I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing portion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the public hearing is open. Is the applicant here? Okay, did you have anything to add to this?
If you do, you
Okay.
want to come up and get your name and address?
Yeah, it's just 3 small dogs that we have that are rescue dogs that we've had.
Okay, I'm sorry, we need to get you to identify yourself and your
I'm
address.
Richard Root.
Okay.
For the dogs, so.
Is this a renewal then? You've had this license
Well,
before?
Actually, I had tags for the dogs, and then when I went to renew the tags, they informed me that I needed this kennel license, which I never knew about.
Oh, okay. Okay,
That answers that.
answers that question.
Yeah,
Next time it'll be a renewal for sure.
yep.
Okay. All right, any questions for the owner?
Did you meet with the animal control officer, Mario Lee?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. Came out to the house.
All right. Well, thank you for your comments. Any other questions from the board? So the requested action item then is to approve the request for a hobby kennel license at 3991 Birch Knoll Drive.
We need to close the public?
Oh, yeah, we have more to go. All right, is there a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public portion is closed. All right, now we can take action. This comes under public safety. Ed, do you want to take care of these?
Yeah. I'll move based on staff review and recommendations that we approve the request for the hobby kennel license at 3991 Birch Knoll Drive. This is for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018, and it's subject to the following conditions, which are listed in our packet on page 75. I'm not going to read them all, so.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Not, I'll call the question. Those in favor of approving the request for a hobby kennel license, please say, at 3991 Birch Knoll Drive, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. All right, next item on the agenda is 7B. What are we doing for time here?
Perfect. It's exactly 7.
We're right on time, and this is another public hearing regarding a hobby kennel license. And this one is a renewal request.
As far as I know. Okay.
All right, I'll move to waive the reading, noting it's properly been published.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Bill?
All right, Kevin and Kim Larson, 2699 Evergreen Circle, have applied for renewal of a hobby kennel license. The dogs have current rabies certificates. The dogs have current licenses. They've completed their application fee and paid the fee. And we have a report from Officer Lee regarding his inspection. And that report is provided on page 15 of your packet. Again, the complaints since last inspection, none, and recommendation from Officer Lee is approval.
Okay, and again, we have no other memos or emails commenting on this?
Correct.
All right, any questions from the board? If not, is there a motion to open the public portion of the hearing?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is the applicant here? I guess not. All right, any other comments? Okay, then is there a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Last chance for questions from the board? If not, the action requested is to approve a renewal request.
Question, they only have two. Two dogs.
But weren't they gonna get a third one?
Did I miss that?
Well, all right.
Two dogs and a cat, but we don't limit cats.
Cats don't.
They can have a kennel license for two dogs. Now, well, let me ask you, then, according to the ordinance, I guess the town attorney will have to answer this one. According to the ordinance, if we approve a kennel license now, can they get the third dog later?
Oh, it says the third dog has not yet been obtained.
Okay.
And you know what? They don't want to approve it till they don't want to purchase the dog until they've been approved for a kennel license.
So
They're
let's-
following the rules perfectly.
So then, let's table this.
No. Because if they acquire the dog, then they'll be in violation of the kennel license. So they checked with the town
All right,
to get approval.
okay, that's what my question was going to be. All right,
Yeah.
all right, so we're back on board then.
Yep. No other questions?
Okay.
All right, I'll move based on staff review and recommendations that we approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 2699 Evergreen Circle for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018. Also subject to the conditions listed on page 92 of our packet.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the requested hobby kennel license. Those in favor, at 2699 Evergreen Circle, those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 7C on the agenda is another public hearing to review any hobby kennel license renewal request. Is the motion to,
You're about a minute early on that one.
Can we start on that early?
okay, now it's 7:20.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to waive the reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to waive the reading. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, Margaret and Scott, they're here. Have applied for renewal of a hobby kennel license at 5335 Hugo Court. The dogs have current rabies certificates and the town licenses. Their application is complete. Officer Lee has completed his inspection and includes his report on page 24 of your supplement. In there, he reviews the premises. Let's see, in this particular, we had number of animals reviewed on the premises is 4. So it's a 15-year-old female Vizsla, 9-year-old pug, 12-year-old pug.
No,
Oh,
you-
sorry. Oh,
Page
wrong
19.
one.
There you go. Yeah,
You know when you're dying. Sorry. I jumped ahead. Page 19, thank you. Number of animals, so it must be 3 dogs and 2 cats? Okay, I won't go through it then. No, there have been no complaints, and the recommendation is to approve. Thank you.
Okay, any questions from the board? If not, is there a motion to open the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the applicants are here. Did you have any comments you'd like to make or add?
Scott Funston, 5355 Hugo Court. I just want to say that this is our 5th time applying for the hobby kennel license, and possibly the last, we're not too sure, on one of the dogs is an age. So, yeah, other than that,
So everything we've heard so far is accurate. You're satisfied with that? Okay.
oh, yeah,
Okay, great.
yeah,
Thank you.
no issues.
Okay.
Any other comments? Okay. If not, I'll ask for a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any other comments from the board? Then the action item requested is to approve the renewal request for 5335 Hugo Court.
Again, liaison to the Public Safety Commission. I'll move based on staff review and recommendations. Approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 5335 Hugo Court for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018, subject to the conditions listed on page 106 of our packet.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve renewal request for a kennel license at 5335 Hugo Court. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item on the agenda is 7D. Oh, let's see here. Now we do have to wait a couple of minutes. We have a public hearing scheduled for 7:25. We have to wait 3 minutes here to satisfy.
Yeah, there might be some other business you want to take care of.
By the time we get started, it'll be time to come back.
Southeast area sewer line.
Or the overlake, fit those two in through the next
Oh, yeah,
public
those are
hearing.
both pretty quick.
You want to try that and get it done in 2 minutes for the overlake?
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to item 7K on the agenda, and that's regarding the Overlake Avenue sewer lining. Now we have a change order request.
So, Mr. Chair, members of the board, the township went out for bids. We got quotes for the what we thought was the designed pipe size of an 8-inch sanitary sewer. That price was $23.75 as part of the low bid. Once we got out and started doing the work, we found out that we do have a 10-inch line through that portion. We've confirmed it with Public Works and everything. This is the line east of Bald Eagle Lake, and it runs through swamp areas, so it's a difficult area to access. So the contractor has submitted increased price to $26 per linear foot, so that's $2.25 more. That would increase the $36,000 project by $1,446.75. We are recommend approval of that adjustment. They will then go ahead and complete the project using the larger liner. So I think everything checks out. We see that the dollar amount is very acceptable. This price is still below the second bid item, even at the 8-inch pipe. So we are very pleased and recommend authorizing change order number 1 for the increase to address the 8-inch to 10-inch lining.
Well, you answered the first of my 2 questions. And the second question is, when will they be able to mobilize then?
As soon as we get approval, I mean, they will start manufacturing the liner. So they've done all their preliminary work and just want to make sure we're squared away with this before they start
Okay.
that process. So this work is all gonna happen here in the next couple weeks.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Nope.
Okay, so the action requested is to approve an increase in the amount of the bid by $1,446.75.
Motion based on town engineer's review and recommendation, approve the change order number 1 to in situ form, is it, how do you pronounce it? For an increased amount of $1,446.75 to their bid, resulting in a total contract of $37,410, with funding coming from the sanitary sewer fund.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion's made and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. So now we're back on track here for our hearing schedule. We have a 7:25 public hearing regarding a hobby kennel license renewal request for 2502 Taylor Avenue. Is there a motion to waive the reading of the notice?
So moved.
Is there a second?
So, second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Bill, this is yours.
David and Gail Kittleston. Welcome. Applied for renewal of their hobby kennel license at 2502 Taylor. The report on page 127 indicates that they are current on their rabies certificates and town licenses. They've completed their application. And Officer Lee has completed his report after inspecting the property on May 9th. He's received no complaints since the last inspection and recommends approval. They have 3 dogs and a cat.
Okay. Is there a motion to open the public hearing for comments?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the applicant's here?
Yes.
Hi, Gail Kittleston, 2502 Taylor Avenue. We have 3 dogs, an old retriever that's like 15 or 16, and 2 pugs that are 12 and about 5, and a cat that only I see.
Is that why Mario didn't take a picture of it?
Yeah, it only comes out when I'm home.
That's the way cats are. Okay, did Bill leave anything out on, from your perspective?
No, he did a good job.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Any other comments? If not, then I'll call for a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? If there are no further questions from the board, the action requested is to approve the renewal request at 2502 Taylor.
I'll move based on staff review and recommendations that we approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 2502 Taylor Avenue. This is for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018, subject to the conditions listed on 125 and 120, just 125.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve a requested renewal of the hobby kennel license at 2502 Taylor Avenue. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Next on the agenda is 7E, and that's a 7:30 public hearing. And we're just about there. So I'll ask for a motion to waive the reading of notice.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor of waiving the reading, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, Bill?
Kristen Thornwall and Laura Phelan. There she is. Have applied for renewal of a hobby kennel license at 5941 Outerview Trail. As you can see in the report on page 145, rabies certificates and town licenses are current. They've completed the application. Mario Lee has completed his report, and that's on page 29, indicating that there were 3 animals, a beagle, a retriever terrier, and a min pin dachshund. He indicates that there are no complaints and recommends approval.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Just one, I don't know, Bill, if you know, last year, they had a neighbor, Karen Isaacson, had made a comment she did not approve of the license. Do you know if she's made any complaints?
I've heard that there have been no complaints for this application.
In a second.
I would notice to respond that we have in our packet that we did get one written comment that the neighbor across the street was okay with the renewal. So, if there's no other questions, is there a motion to open the public hearing portion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The applicant is here.
Hello, Chris Thornwell, 5941 Otterview Trail. The complaint from Ms. Erickson, one, she wasn't within the 300 whatever limit was, and she was having an issue with a dog that was on her block, and the board said that they would help her figure out who it was. She's never complained about our dogs.
Okay,
She said at the meeting that she'd never heard our dogs.
okay. All right, Bill was accurate in his recital?
Absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you. Are there any other comments? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay. So the action item requested is to approve the renewal request for 5941 Otterview Trail.
I'll move based on staff review and recommendations. We approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 5941 Otterview Trail, the 2-year period through March 31st, 2018. This will also be due, subject to following conditions on 143 on our packet.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the renewal request for hobby kennel license at 5941 Otterview Trail. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Well, we're talking too fast here. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Next item on the agenda is 7F, and that's another public hearing for 735. Jim, can you do 7L in a couple of minutes?
Sure. Mr. Chair, members of board, that item is the southeast area sanitary sewer lining. As part of the feasibility process, we go through the numbers, we put the draft feasibility together. We held 2 residential informational meetings so that we can present the proposed project to the affected properties. That was 457 of them. We had 2 meetings to discuss that with the residents. We take that information and we will bring that back to the town board at the executive meeting. For that activity, for the 2 meetings, the PowerPoint presentation, and going through those activities, we're requesting that $1,650 for covering that activity. The total project is $1,713,000. This is part of that amount within the budget of that project. All of this is going through the sanitary sewer fund at this point, and assessments will be part of the overall project if this moves forward. The next step would be to discuss further at the town board executive meeting, the meeting information that we received, and then working on going forward with that process.
Okay. Yeah, I was at the second of those 2 meetings, and it went well. The subject was covered, and the audience seemed receptive to everything you had to present. Steve, you were at the first meeting?
I was at both the first and the second, and I agree with that. I thought they came prepared with questions, and I thought the answers that you provided gave them enough information to know what's ahead of them.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Jim? The motion, or the action requested is to approve the expenditure of $1,650, not to exceed $1,650.
I'll make a motion to approve the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $1,650 for meeting preparation for the neighborhood meetings with funding from the sanitary sewer fund for the southeast area sanitary sewer lining project.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Motion's been made and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. All right, we can go back to item 7F on the agenda, and that's a 7:35 public hearing regarding a hobby kennel license renewal request for 5423 Jefferson Court. Is there a motion to waive readings of the notice?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Bill?
Michelle Molitor. Is she present? No, sorry. Thank you. All right. 5423 Jefferson Court applied for renewal of her hobby kennel license. And in the report on page 163, you can see that the rabies certificates and town dog licenses are current. The application is complete. Officer Mario Lee has completed his report. It's included on page 35 of your packet, indicating that they have 3 dogs and several cats. Of the 3 dogs, it's a short-haired pointer, a yellow lab, and a miniature pinscher. He's indicated that he's not received any complaints, and based on his inspection, recommends approval of the license. We did receive a call, and included on, make sure to find the right
Page
page.
39.
Thank you. Oh, is that in the
In
supplement?
the supplement, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I was curious because they said neighbor called, but they didn't give a name.
I think it was anonymous.
And then in the agenda packet, we have another similar complaint. Do we know if that's the same person?
Don't know.
Two anonymous or one anonymous person? Okay.
And that was a call that was received on May 16th. The complaint was, objects to the renewal of the license as the dog barks all the time. It's hard to go out in the yard.
Okay.
So the complaints are coming to Township, not to Mario?
Correct. We encourage folks to inform the animal control officer, so he has a record. As you can see, he's very thorough in his record keeping, so we need to have a name and address for the complaint to be qualified. Now, we were advised that the person who called would be at the meeting tonight. So you could ask if that person is here.
All right. Any other questions from the board?
Well, I noticed in the, when this was up for renewal before, and Mario didn't comment on that, but it asked to have postings for beware of dogs signs on this particular.
Yeah, one of them was aggressive.
One was aggressive, but I didn't see any comments of that, but other than, it kind of fits with the large dog hanging over the fence business, but, I don't know if that was ever complied with, and there's no comments by Mario on that.
Yeah, we don't have any, oh, pardon me. In the report that's on page 163, this report goes on to a second page that Patty prepared. She's provided 2 options to help the board consider your options. The first would be approve the renewal. Simply approve it as submitted. Another option would be subject to conditions, and there's some conditions the board could consider. Some of which are redundant, but limit to 3 dogs, Current licenses, premises be cleaned daily. Beware of dog signs placed on the gates and fence. And this hobby kennel license expire on March 31st, 2018. Okay, so it's basically the same conditions, but the beware of dog is another option as well as cleaning.
Okay.
And the board could choose to have a second review in less than the normal 2-year renewal.
Second review from the animal control officer.
Yeah.
Great. All right, any other questions from the board? If not, is there a motion to open the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay, I'll ask first, is the applicant here? No? No applicant? All right, does anyone else have any comments?
This applicant on Jefferson
Right,
Court.
we need-
Gail
for the
Kittleson-
record, we need you
Gail
to-
Kittleson, 2502 Taylor Avenue. This applicant lives down the block from us, kind of behind us. We don't ever hear their dogs barking, and I was here for their hearing last year, and the beware of dog was because they have a feisty mini pinch.
Are they, okay, is that, I'm not familiar with the dog breeds, is that,
It's tiny, it's a little bit bigger than a Chihuahua.
somewhere between a Chihuahua and a small horse, I guess?
No, they're tiny little dogs, and the dog's name is
They
Bruiser.
walk the dogs by our house regularly.
Okay, all right. Any other comments regarding this request? All right. Well, it's difficult to respond to anonymous complaints, but we can't ignore them. But it's also helpful to have another identifiable response that the barking issue is not an issue, so. Any questions, any other questions from the board?
We could, if we hear from the anonymous complainant, we will ask for a name and address, a time of day, and specifics. At this point, the comment we had was kind of vague. And it was somebody who is near the rear yard as opposed to the street side of the house.
Could we have Mario go and visit the site again and just survey the owner about,
Well, that's his option too, and I think
Yeah.
that's probably what we should do.
Oh, okay. And that would be to approve it, but have an interim inspection. Yeah, that's a good option.
Yes, I agree with that.
so we're looking at an option here to approve the license basically to approve a license renewal for 6 months.
No, you'd approve it through
Well-
2018, but he'd do a spot check in either 6 or 12 months.
Or, yeah, we could do that, but I'm just saying, approve a license for 6 months and contingent upon Mario's findings, then we can approve the license to continue for another year and a half.
Well, if you believe there's an issue with barking, you can always have an interim review done by the animal control officer and reconsider you can grant the 2 years, but reconsider if you feel there's a violation of the license.
Which is our privilege.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
So you don't need, I would recommend against a 6-month
I think that's gonna get
continuation.
complicated, yeah.
And just request, but the
Well, the effect
concept
is the
of,
same, but
Yeah.
what you're proposing it is simpler.
Yeah, I don't want to have him come back here and renew the license again in 6 months.
Yeah, renewing, it takes us through the whole hearing,
Right.
the whole, everything.
What are we
notice
gonna
process
hear
and
from
everything.
Mario then?
Well, it depends on if we want a 6-month or a 12-month review.
Okay, well, whenever we hear from him, what do we expect to hear? What would our action be at that point in time?
Mr.
If he
Chair,
says,
if
no
I may.
barking that I can find, it automatically continues?
if I may, I want you to condition this upon having the animal control officer review this in 1 year and file a report in 1 year to see if there's any change in conditions.
In what conditions, though? The barking?
Well, yeah, and, exactly.
Okay,
Or any condition for that matter.
okay.
Well, that'll give us time too to also find out if there's been any other complaints come in.
That's
during
true,
that time.
as true as too.
And at that time, we could ignore it, or we could take action and rescind the license.
Yes, you could hold a hearing on the license, exactly.
All right,
I agree with that. I'm a supporter of not holding to anonymous correspondence. You know, if we want to run a good neighborhood situation, people should be willing to stand up and say why their issues are. So I think having it reviewed in a year again, and if our person is listening today on the television, they have the opportunity to come forward and make that clarifications of their concerns. So I think the option 2 that we talked about is as Ed said, is the best way to go.
okay. Well, is there a motion?
We need to close the public
Yeah,
hearing.
is there a motion to close the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Then the action is to approve, is a request to approve a renewal request.
I'll move to approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 5423 Jefferson Court for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018. But this will be subject to Mario Lee's review in 12 months. And also they need to follow the conditions listed on page 161 and 162.
Ed, could I ask just for a add-on that Mario reviews that in a year and reports to the board his findings?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Are there any further questions? If not, I'll call the question. Those in favor of approving the renewal request for a year subject, or for 2 years subject to the 12-month review by the animal control officer, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. All right, 7G is a 7:40 public hearing for a hobby kennel license renewal request for 5451 Normandy Court. Is there a motion to waive the reading of notice?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Bill?
Patrick Degree, you representing Mr. Degree? Thank you. 5451 Normandy Court applied for renewal of hobby kennel license. And as indicated on her report on page 185, Patty identified that certificate rabies and rabies certificate and town licenses are current. They indicate that copies of the rabies certificate have been provided for all 3 dogs, but an update for Poncho is expected to be received. So I think there must be some clear communication that that's ready. The application is complete. Officer Lee is completed his report. And it's on page 41 of your packet. He completed his normal report indicating there are 3 dogs on the property. And he's had no complaints since the last renewal and recommends approval. As you can see, this was this particular license review, when it took place last, which was a year ago. It was controversial, particularly with one particular neighbor. I understand that neighbor, actually the neighbor was in the process of moving at that point in time and may have already moved since that time. We haven't received any complaints, and neither has Mario.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that discussion pretty well, and that was the one with the acrobatic dog climbing the fences.
Oh, yeah.
And I also remember that the applicant was pretty cooperative in building a new fence to deal with that problem.
That's right.
So, any other questions from the board?
No, I also, I have talked since that initial application with another neighbor in that area who also voiced a complaint and said things have vastly improved and are very happy. So I think the steps that were taken were the right steps for the right reasons. I have no other questions or comments.
Ed, anything?
No.
All right, is there a motion to open the public portion of the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? You're here to represent the applicant?
I have a little note about it.
Oh, okay, is the applicant here then?
both working, Melissa and
Okay, all right.
But I was just here, I got a notice that said 7:40, but I don't know if that meant I had to say anything or just show up.
Unless you want to say anything. If anyone has a comment to make about this request? If not, gone. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? All right, any final comments from the board?
Just that we rely on neighbors to let us know if there are issues going on. And we also rely on them to let us know if, like you say, if things are working out. So that helps us in our decision-making, so. But hearing none, I'll move based on staff review and recommendations. We approve the renewal request for the hobby kennel license at 5941 Otterview Trail for a 2-year period through March 31st, 2018. Also subject to the conditions.
You got the wrong address.
Oh,
5451.
545, it's written
oh,
wrong.
this one's wrong here.
Yeah.
At the top.
Oh, okay. Correction. We have two different numbers here. All right, 5451. And with the following conditions listed on page 180. A small typo.
Okay. All right, is there a second?
Second. As long as that was 5451 Normandy Court.
Oh, yeah, it was even Otterview Trail down there.
I thought this,
Unless they've moved.
Wow.
unless we have another hobby kennel license renewal request.
No.
All right. All right. Motion's made and seconded to approve a renewal request for a hobby kennel license at 5451 Normandy Court. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Next item on the agenda is 7H. and-
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming in, and thank you for your comments. As Ed says, it helps. 7H on the agenda is a request, is a 7:45 public hearing requesting a side yard setback variance at 2577 County Road F.
I'll move the way the reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Tom, this is yours?
Yes, Arnt's property is located on County Road F, just across from Bel Air School, 2577 here. Forget what road that is. Is that Lakewood? Yes. Okay, so just east of Lakewood. Originally, they had requested approval of a 6.375-foot side yard setback variance. That would be to construct a new garage, an existing single-car garage that was torn down here a few weeks ago. They're looking at constructing a new 22 by 28-foot garage. This lot is 75 feet wide because it's considered an undersized lot of record. They do get an automatic variance, and that's why we have the odd 0.375-foot request. Again, replacing a single-car garage with a 22 wide by 28 deep. They are proposing to shift the location of the garage. This is the configuration as it is or was before they tore down the single-car garage. You can see they want to put a two-car garage in. They want to shift it towards the north so they can get into both doors. This is a representation closer to what they're looking for. Shifting it about approximately 12 feet or so away from the home there so they have enough room to get in and get out. Variance board, when they reviewed this, they had a discussion with the applicants, and they suggested that a 5-foot minimum setback is kind of the norm in the south side of the town there. That's an area where many ramblers were built, 50s and 60s or earlier, many with single-car garages. So the town has been trying to accommodate homeowners down there by allowing variances as close as 5 feet to a lot line for a two-car garage. So that was the recommendation of both the variance board and the planning commission to approve a 4.375-foot setback variance that would give them a 5-foot side setback. Arents have considered that, and I believe they are agreeable to a 5-foot setback. In addition to this request, there's also a request for an administrative driveway setback variance. Basically, they have a driveway that's into the setback area and would like to put that back in about the same location. That does require approval of an administrative driveway variance. So 2 variances, administrative driveway variance, and then the recommended 4.375-foot side yard setback variance. That's been recommended for approval.
Don't we normally handle the ordinance number 35 as a consent? On the consent agenda versus going through because the driveway is put back where it was?
Typically, the town clerk can approve that, and then it needs to be ratified by the town board as being approved for the driveway setback.
Right, but isn't it done through consent versus a
I
separate
believe they've
motion?
been done in consent in the past. We just put
For the
this,
driveway.
Right.
How about
Yeah.
for the garage?
not for
for the
garage,
garage,
no.
but-
This, in fact, because it's less than 6 feet from the side lot line, that's the reason why we have to have a public hearing for this one.
Okay. Is that it?
That's all I have. The applicants are here, and they might have some comments for you.
Applicants are here, okay. Any questions from the board? Seems pretty straightforward. All right, I'll ask for a motion to open the public portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Second, is there a second? Motion's made and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? And you are the applicants. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Sure. Please identify yourself for the audience.
I'm Ken Arndt. I'm a homeowner at 2577 County Road F. What Tom presented is pretty much what we're hoping to achieve. We're in agreement with the 5-foot side setback. Decided to, rather than have the garage straight back parallel with the lot line, we're actually going to angle it in towards the backyard to achieve the 5 foot and get our turning radius in to both stalls a little more easily.
So the back corner of the garage is going to be rotated.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah, it would
okay.
pivot from that southwestern corner.
So it's just that front corner that's going to be at 5 feet.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Other than that, I really have no comment, but can answer any questions if you have any.
Well, it's just the town's always tried to help residents get a 2-stall garage. We know residents like to get their stuff inside, and so other residents aren't looking at it outside. But we appreciate you at least compromising with us to get to that 5 number, so.
It actually works out better for us in
Okay.
the long run, so I appreciate the suggestion at the previous meeting.
Okay, perfect.
Great,
Perfect.
thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? If not, I'll ask for a motion to close the public portion of the hearing.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? And we have 2 action items requested. One is for a side yard setback for the garage, and the second is to ratify a clerk's issuance of an administrative driveway variance.
As liaison to the planning commission, I'll move based on planning commission staff and review and recommendations. We approve a 4.375 side yard setback variance at 2577 County Road F. This is to allow construction of a new double garage.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded to approve the 4.375-foot side yard setback variance. Those in favor, at 2577 County Road F. Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? That motion passes. And the second action item is to ratify the town clerk's issuance.
I'll move in accordance with Town Ordinance Number 35, Section 9-6, Point 3E, and based on staff review and recommendations and approval, we ratify the town clerk issuance of an administrative driveway variance at 2577 County Road F.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 7I, and that is a 7:50 public hearing, Lakeshore setback variance request at 2609 South Shore Boulevard.
I'll move to waive the reading.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Okay, 2609 South Shore Boulevard, located in this area right here. It's close to the lake, surrounded by a flag lot on two sides. And if this one looks familiar to you, this was a request for a variance that was approved by the town back in 2010. And that was for reconstruction of a home, actually a cabin. Same location, but it has an interesting setback situation here. If you can see the highlighted area, the blue line is the ordinary high water elevation of White Bear Lake. That's where it's supposed to be at on an average basis. The town takes a setback measurement from the flood elevation of lakes and water bodies in the town, and that's a different elevation. That's represented by the highlighted line in yellow right here. And it's typically dry ground above the lake, but occasionally the water can rise this high. Again, it's considered the 100-year stormwater elevation. But if you can see on the Salisbury's home is right here. The setback line is right here. It comes around the west side of the home, which is kind of a lower area with homes west of there set quite a ways back from the lake. But the difference between the setback line and the existing home is 8 feet. And they're requesting approval of a 42-foot lakeshore setback variance, which would allow them to simply raise the height of their home by 4 to 5 feet. This is close to the 100-year high water elevation, as I mentioned. Separation from a low floor to a flood zone has to be a minimum of 3 feet. They couldn't quite get that, so instead of raising the whole home up, they just built a crawl space under there, only about 4 feet high. This has been their cabin. They are considering moving there permanently, and Mr. Salisbury would like to put a shop in the basement. Not habitable area, but a shop and utilities and things like that. So they need to raise the height of the home by 4 to 5 feet. Because it required a variance for original construction, it will require a variance because they're increasing the height and increasing the variance request as a result. In addition, they want to put a deck on the back portion of the home, or the lakeshore portion of the home right here. Deck would be currently it's a paving stone patio, but this would be above grade. It's no closer to the lake, even though it's closer to the lake, but it's not closer to the setback, again, because we measured at this point here versus the lake out here. If we measured to the actual lakeshore, where the lake is, wouldn't need a variance. It would meet the 50-foot setback requirement. But because we measure from this 100-year high water elevation, it does require approval of the 42-foot lakeshore setback variance. So that's what they have requested. It's been reviewed by the variance board and the planning commission, and both bodies have recommended approval of the variance as requested.
Tom, do you happen to know when the last time White Bear Lake reached that 100-foot level? Or that 100-year
high?
level?
I do not.
Before the trial, hopefully.
At least 100 years.
It might not have been that long ago.
It's been a while.
All right, any questions from the board? If not, I'll ask for a motion to open the public hearing portion
So
of the meeting.
moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Is the applicant here? Is there anything you would like to add?
Not unless you have some questions for it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Okay.
The Twins were down 8 to nothing.
Any questions for the applicant?
8 to nothing in the first.
Then, if not, I'll ask for a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, okay. So we have let's see. Well, we just have one action item then. That's just to, approve a setback variance, a 42-foot lakeshore setback variance. Is that correct, Tom?
That's correct.
Okay. What's the pleasure of the board?
Well, planning commission, when they reviewed this, realizes that this is somewhat of an anomaly. And to me, it would be more of a hardship not to let them do it than to, so I would say, I'd move based on planning commission and staff review and recommendations that we approve the request for a 42-foot lakeshore setback variance to allow the existing home/cabin to be increased in height by 4 foot 5 inches. Or is that 4 to 5 feet?
That's correct. 4 to 5 feet.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Tom, just one quick question on that 4 to 5 feet parameter. Is that a critical issue? Are there any height ordinances or restrictions we need to be concerned about that 5 feet or anything above 4 feet might impact?
Yes, we do have a height maximum requirement, but it is not a concern of this.
With the 4 to 5 feet?
Right, it's
question.
a
Okay.
rambler.
All right, okay. Any other, if there's no other questions, I'll call the question. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion is passed.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 7J on the agenda is regarding Pine Hill Improvement 2016-1.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, bringing you up to speed, the town board has approved the preliminary plats. We have authorized the preparation of the plans and specifications for this project. The next activity is the final plat that is on the town board agenda tonight. So prior to approval of that final plat, we need to enter into a development agreement for the Pine Hill project. And that is what is in your packet. It would be between the township and the North Oaks Company LLC. The development agreement walks through the components of what the requirements are. It calls out that the owner-developer will be cover the entire cost of the improvements. There will be a letter of credit to cover this. The dollar amounts that were put through the feasibility project are still what we are using at this point. We have a $1,366,900 project. The developer owner has already supplied the township with $150,000. So we have a remaining balance of $1,216,900. For that work, the township requires 125% of that as security. So that would bring the total amount to $1,521,125. That would be through a letter of credit. If going through the actual bidding process and if costs were more than 10%, this addresses that, where they'd have to increase that letter of credit. Through this process, basically we have the $150,000 already. We'd be doing monthly invoices on all the costs that the township has incurred to cover those. If there was any issue with the township getting covered on those costs, you would use that irrevocable letter of credit to cover it. So the township is covered no matter what happens going forward. We also call out with item number 5 that there will be the Metropolitan Council Services availability charge, the town water availability charge, and the town sewer availability charge. These would be placed on each of the building permits at the time of those building permits. Item number 6 walks through the owner-developer's responsibility for the site grading, the drainage, the private utilities, and signage if there becomes additional items regarding lighting, and also the landscaping. Number 7 addresses for the park fee that we have land being dedicated with this project, so there is no monetary amount. So this basically spells out everything between the two entities. We do have Gary Eagles here tonight for any questions on their end.
Jim, I just had one initial question here. When will the letter of credit be executed, or has it already been done?
It has not been done at this point.
Well,
There's been discussion, that's one of the reasons Gary is here.
okay. All right.
Gary Eagles, North Oaks Company, our Board of Directors meeting is tomorrow. So that's the decision they have to make tomorrow when they want to do that, or we may do it just a cash bond rather than a letter of credit.
Okay.
So that's what we have to decide tomorrow.
So a cash bond is just as acceptable for the township?
More so, actually.
Okay. And we'll know that? Tomorrow, for sure. Okay. All right, so any other questions from the board?
No.
So if that cash bond isn't established or the letter of credit isn't established tomorrow, what happens to the development agreement?
Mr. Chair, you won't execute it until that's been satisfied.
Okay. So the action item that's requested tonight then is to approve execution of the development agreement. But we don't have to execute until we find out about the letter of credit.
You don't have to put your name on here.
Okay, yeah.
Contingent on receiving
Yeah,
that.
so my name doesn't go on here until after that letter of credit.
Got an agreement.
All right.
You write the check.
I can't go that far. I have a hard time signing. All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion based on town attorney and staff review and recommendation, approve the execution of the development agreement by the town board chair and town clerk.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the execution of the development agreement. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Next item is 7J2, and that's regarding approval of the final plat of Pine Hill.
So, Mr. Chair, members of the board, contingent upon that execution of the development agreement, we have done the review of the final plat. In your packet, there is 2 of the components, the actual final plat and the trail connection exhibit. In the supplemental packet has the sanitary sewer easement and the emergency access exhibit. So there are 4 pieces to this activity. We have reviewed the final plat. It is consistent with the approval of the preliminary plat. We have addressed the items in there regarding the emergency access, and that's called out in the exhibit. We have covered all the utilities with drainage and utility easements. The attachment for the trail connection takes care of the trail through the development. And we also have the sanitary sewer easement, which is outside of the Pine Hill development In the exhibit shown, it is based in the southwest corner of that site where we tie into the Metropolitan Council main interceptor just south of the development project. So we have a easement to cover that component outside of the plat.
Is that in Ralph Weber's property?
Back end of it?
Oh, okay.
So we have, and through our review, recommend approval of the plat with the 3 components addressing each of the areas, the trail, the area outside of the development, and then that emergency access area within the plat.
And those items are on page 257 and 258 of the packet and pages 46 and 47 of the supplement. So we can reference those. Okay. And these are the same sketches and drawings that we've been reviewing. There's been no modifications since our last review.
Correct, and we have just taken care of some minor items to it, make sure we meet all of our requirements.
Okay. Okay, any questions from the board? So the action item requested by the town engineer and the planner is to approve the final plat of the Pine Hill development.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
No further discussion? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Item 7J3 is approval of plans and specifications and authorized advertisement for bids.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, through the preliminary design of the project and through the feasibility study, the sanitary sewer, water, sanitary storm sewer, the street, everything was laid out through that process. We are currently working with North Oaks on bringing these up to conformance with the township. We have mostly completed those plans. It gets into making sure all the details, all the items that were in the final plat for easements, all that stuff was addressed, and we are wrapping up the final components regarding the trail, any of the removals of conditions out there, the water main along H2, so we are very close to completing those, just some minor items that we will work with North Oaks on those activities to continue to meet our construction schedule, which we call out so that we can have a bid opening on June 15th and then bring to the June 20th town board meeting. We are asking for approval of those plans and specifications and authorizing the bidding of the Pine Hills project. We also are asking for $4,300 for that process, including all the advertisements and everything. Because this project is, significantly over the 100,000 threshold, we have to go through the advertisements and publications in the local newspapers, have a 3-week ad time from when it gets first advertised to the bid opening. So to meet those requirements and to have this back at the June 20th town board meeting, we are asking for approval of those actions tonight.
Okay. Gary, is there anything else you feel needs to be added to the town engineer's report?
No, I think Jim and I have been going through all the fine details of what has to be done out there and adding the water main sections. We've all agreed to that option too. So I think we're fine with what's
Okay,
planned.
all right. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? So the action item requested is to approve the plans and specs and authorize for advertising of bids, and also including your statement from your May 11th letter regarding bidding process to be performed for an amount not to exceed $4,300.
Correct.
Okay,
So moved.
is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. Those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That motion passes. Item number 8 on the agenda is added agenda items. We have none. Item 9 is open time, unless Gary has some more comments. Item 10 on the agenda is to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Item 11 on the agenda is motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
We are adjourned.